These terrifying moments of homeowners fighting intruders were all caught on camera, and the outcome of both may shock you. For the first video, couple Caspian and Isabel Chamel were enjoying the end of their evening and just about to get ready for bed. Isabel can be seen scrolling through her phone when all of a sudden the front door slams open.
I just hear a loud bang and the door flies open.
I've got a couple of roommates that live downstairs, so having people come in and out at all hours of the night isn't super odd.
However, this was not one of their roommates, and instead, a home intruder armed with a loaded shotgun. Caspian is quickly told to sit down after coming face to face with the barrel of the gun.
The intruder orders Caspian to take a seat. Then he turns his attention and his shotgun toward Caspian's fiancée on the couch.
What happens next is something straight out of the movies, when Caspian charges the gunman and tries to overtake him. The two struggle, falling to the ground with neither letting go of the gun. Caspian eventually yells for one of his roommates to come help, but nobody hears him. The gunman now tries to escape, but isn't leaving without his shotgun. Caspian holds on for dear life as he is dragged down the steps. This gives Isabel a window to get out of the room and call 911. Eventually, Caspian is able to overtake the intruder and gain control of the gun. The most shocking part, though? A few minutes later, a loud knock can be heard at the door, with it being none other than the intruder asking for his gun back. After being met with a swift no, he tries to force his way back into the house only to be kicked out once again.
I opened the door, and he was asking for his shotgun back, and so we told him no, of course, and he tried to force his way back into the house.
The suspect finally fled the scene, still without his shotgun, which was loaded but never fired.
The intruder, Eddie Walker, was arrested and pleaded guilty to aggravated battery and was sentenced to a maximum of 11 years in prison. That's a lot of time to think about how he chose the wrong house to break into that night. Another home intruder that regrets their decision to enter a home unwelcomed is this man out of Oklahoma. Retired law officer Christina Byers thought that her time of dealing with criminals was long gone. But when she came home one afternoon, all that changed within the blink of an eye.
Saw the light on in the room. I knew I had turned all my lights off. And I yelled out, "Who's here?" And he comes out.
The man in her home, later identified as Timothy Chappell, broke in through the back door and tried to explain why he was there. He tried to play the whole thing off by stating he had just followed the person who broke into her house.
"Man, lady, I just followed the person that broke in your house." So my brain is like, now I've got two in the house.
The man bolts for the door as Christina chases after him, worried that he might have taken one of her guns. She later stated that
all I could think is he can't leave with that. If he has it, he can't leave.
Sure enough, Christina stuck to her word and began to fight the intruder. As the two clash and fight, falling over one another and becoming entangled, Christina yells out for help. Luckily, her Ring camera captures everything and even alerts her daughter. 911 is quickly called, and just as the suspect gets away, an onlooker comes in to help and is ordered by Christina to go chase down the intruder.
And he pulled up to see if I was okay, and I asked him to follow the man. I don't know his name, but he was a blessing.
Eventually, police show up and are able to find the robber behind a nearby store. Not following her own advice, Christina urges people not to get involved with home intruders.
Byers doesn't suggest fighting with a burglar.
I was sore. It's very hard for me to move around.
In this case, her officer training came in handy.
Your adrenaline kicks in. It just does, and it's just like you do what you have to do at that moment.
In both of these break-ins, the homeowners leave it to adrenaline as their savior and can live to tell the tale another day. The only question now is, what would you do if you were in their shoes?